Welcome Sukkes Pamkem Carsioyt gang. Whenever we talk about hypercars, we think of a very aerodynamic and sharp-looking car that offers extreme power. Whether it has a V12 engine, W12 engine, or even a W16 engine, which can cut through speeds of 200, 300, even 400. Overall, an ultimate high-performance car that sports cars. Supercars are a level above that. Many brands make hypercars like Ferrari, Aston Martin, McLaren, Lotus, and many more. But these brands also make sports cars, sedans, or SUVs. So, they are not exclusive hypercar brands. When it comes to exclusivity, there are only a few car brands that make only hypercars. Like Bugatti, Carsioyt, Koenigsegg, Pagani, Rimac, Pininfarina, Who is saying devil from the back, man? Since I met you, my reign of terror has ended, friend. By the way, if you trust devil or devil 16 a lot, a few days ago, I made a video on that, watch it. Take it. You will find out the truth about both the company and the car, whether it's real or if everyone has been fooled. Anyway, coming back to hypercars, do you know what the very first car of these hypercar brands was? And what did they look like? Did they also have such strong power and performance, or was it something else? Today, let's talk about hypercar brands and their first car. So if we talk about the first brand, it is Pagani. Pagani is a brand that I personally like a lot. Personally, even if they have only 3, 4 or 5 models, each one is a masterpiece. Be it the Utopia, Imola or Pagani Huayra. In terms of looks, 10 on 10. In terms of power and performance, 10 on 10. And when it comes to sound, there's no comparison. Anyway, talking about Pagani brand's very first car, that is the Zonda C12. Zonda C12 is a mid-engine Italian car from Pagani, which debuted for the first time at the 1999 Geneva Motor Show. Was installed. This car had a Mercedes-Benz 6-liter M129 V12 engine that in 1999 gave this car 444 horsepower and it produced 640 Newton meters of torque. With this, the car could go from 0 to 100 in just 4.2 seconds. But Pagani found this insufficient, so the very next year, in the year 2000, they launched a new model of the C12, the C12S, where they replaced the 6-liter engine with a 7-liter engine. The power was increased from 444 horsepower straight to 542 horsepower, and the 0 to 100 time was reduced from 4.2 seconds to 3.7 seconds in came. And along with it, more models with upgrades were introduced like Zonda S, Zonda Roadster, Zonda F Extra. But in 2007, Pagani had to release its ultimate weapon, that is, its only track-focused model Zonda Carsioyt, that is R, which had 750 horsepower and was not road legal at all. It was made only for tracks, and the fun fact was that this monster was banned on some tracks too. Why? Because of its extremely loud sound. I have made a detailed video on the Zonda R as well. If you want to know in detail about this particular car, then watch that video. Since 1999 until today, only 140 units of the Pagani Zonda have been made worldwide, including all its models and variants, which has further increased the exclusivity of this car. Yes, speaking of exclusivity, if we talk about their second brand, it is Koenigsegg, the most famous and hyped hypercar brand after Bugatti. Currently, Koenigsegg is in a league of its own. Just look at the Jesko. With its V8 engine, it rivals Bugatti's W16 engine. And apart from that, their Regera, Agera, Gemera are all top-notch. But if we talk about their very first car, it is the Koenigsegg CCA. .655 horsepower and 750 Newton meters maximum torque, with which this car can go from 0 to 100 in 3.5 seconds and also reach a top speed of 390 km per hour. It is. The CC8S is a 2-door 2-seater car with a Targa top design. That means you can remove its roof if you want to drive with an open top on mountains and such. The entire chassis of this vehicle is made from reinforced carbon fiber, which is attached to its steel and aluminum subframe, and the remaining body panels of the vehicle are made of pure carbon fiber. Carbon fiber. Besides that, as you all know, in such vehicles, the front wheel section is a bit smaller compared to the rear, which it also has this. That is, there are 18-inch alloys in the front and 20-inch alloys in the rear, installed with Michelin Pilot tires. Yes, the same tires that Bugatti also uses in their cars. Yes, the production of the Koenigsegg CC8S lasted from 2002 to 2003. That means this vehicle was in production for just about 2 years. Only a total of 6 examples of this car were made, so worldwide, only 6 CC8S exist, ultra rare buy. Now that Bugatti has been mentioned, let's talk about Bugatti itself. Currently, every child knows about Bugatti because of their amazing cars. Nowadays, Bugatti's cars have become quite advanced and futuristic, like the Topion, Mistral, Bolide, Divo, etc., meaning truly one masterpiece after another, lacking nothing, neither in looks, nor in power, nor in performance, nor obviously in price. If you have money, what can't you do? But Bugatti's very first car is quite the opposite of all this, and quite interesting too, because this brand, like Pagani and Koenigsegg, isn't modern but dates back to 1909. Yes, almost 116 years old. That's why their first car is also vintage and retro type, and that is Bugatti type. 13. Generally, their very first car was the Type 10, but that wasn't a production unit. Rather, Ettore Bugatti, the founder of Bugatti, made it for his personal use, so we will not count that. Hence, Bugatti's very first production car was Type 13. The Type 13, which came in 1910, was Bugatti's chauffeur-driven racing car equipped with a 1.4-liter, that is 1400cc 4-valve engine that produced around 30 horsepower. Considering the 300 kg weight of the car, it was quite appropriate for that time. In fact, this car was also on the list of powerful racer cars, because we are not talking about today, but approximately 115 years ago. Even though this car might look like a toy, it was a very successful car in the racing field. Now, since Bugatti needed to make upgrades in cars, the next generation came, like Type 15, Type 17, Type 22, Type 23, etc. And by doing this, today this brand has reached this point. I mean, 400 speed is normal for them. They are now aiming to break the 500 speed record. Moving on to the next brand, that is Pininfarina. Many people might have heard its name, or some might not even know about it. Pininfarina is an Italian car brand owned by the Mahindra Group. Yes, just as Tata Motors owns Land Rover and Jaguar. Similarly, Mahindra to Pininfarina. Currently, this brand has a few cars like Pininfarina B95 and Ninfarina, but the very first car of this brand is Pininfarina Battista. Battista was unveiled not long ago at the Geneva Motor Show in 2019, and the production of this car started in 2022. Battista is their hyper-electric car. Yes, it is a pure EV car equipped with a total of 4 motors. That means with each wheel it becomes an all-wheel drive vehicle. With its 4 electric motors and a 120 kilowatt battery, it produces 1900 horsepower. Yes, 1900 horsepower and 2340 Newton meters of peak seat torque. Oh, seriously, dude. In a Bugatti, to get power out of the engine, here you just connect motor and battery. It means it's not that complicated. With its 1900 horsepower, this car can reach a speed from 0 to 100 in just 1.86 seconds. You all must know about a Croatian manufacturer that only makes EV hypercars. Talking about the brand's very first car, surprisingly, they have only one car. So that's their first car, and that's currently the car, and it's the Rimac Nevera. The Nevera is their electric hypercar, which was first presented at the 2018 Geneva Motor Show. While its production started in 2022, this car, like the Battista, also has 4 electric motors for different tires, meaning an all-wheel drive system, with which this car produces 1914 horsepower, yes, more power than the Battista, and approximately 2340 Newton meters of torque. With this extreme power, this car can go from 0 to 100 in 1.81 seconds, with a top speed of 412 kilometers per hour. This means, man, it has even left Battista behind. The body construction of the Nevera is made of carbon fiber, but still, the weight of this car is around 2,150 kilograms. Because it is an EV, the battery pack and such need to be installed, which are quite heavy. Rimac has installed a lot of high-tech features in this car too, are installed, like the facial recognition system, where the car will only unlock or start after seeing the face of its real owner. After that, there is also a high-speed drift mode that keeps the car under control. Additionally, the Nevera also offers self-driving capabilities like Tesla. For this, it is equipped with 8 cameras, 6 radars, and 12 ultrasonic sensors. The production of Rimac's Nevera is limited to only 150 units, with the price of a single unit being around 20 to 21 crore. Okay, so these were some exclusive hypercar brands and their first cars. Tell in the comments which brand's car you like the most. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. Bye. This is a regular Ford Mustang which has the horse logo, and this is the Shelby Mustang which has the snake or cobra logo. But bro, both are Mustangs. Yes, both are Mustangs, but there is a world of difference between the Ford Mustang and the Shelby Mustang. Yes. Like in this Ford Mustang, there is a 5.0-liter V8 engine that produces 396 horsepower. And on the other hand, in this Shelby Mustang GT500, there is a 5.2-liter V8 engine that produces 760 horsepower. That is almost double power. So, a question must be coming to your mind, what exactly is this Shelby? Is it a car company or something else? How is it putting its logo on Ford's Mustang and selling it under its name? And how has it become even more famous than Ford's regular Mustang? Alright, let's learn everything about Shelby and also about the Shelby Mustang in today's video. So, first of all, let's talk. What is Shelby after all? What exactly is this? So look, Shelby is not an official car manufacturing company like Ford, Toyota, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, etc. But Shelby is an American-based high-performance automobile firm that tunes and customizes other cars according to its own standards and sells them with its branding. Basically, it modifies cars from other companies, especially in terms of power. And by other company, I mean Ford, because currently this Shelby company only customizes Ford cars. And why is that? To understand, we have to go back to around the 1950s when the founder of Shelby, Carroll Hall Shelby, used to be a famous race car driver of his time. Carroll Shelby was a race driver who held the first race of his career. He started with MGTC and won his very first race. By doing this, Carroll Shelby won 12 races, whereas Terry Code beneficiated 12 races in just 2 years. And pleased by this, Aston Martin invited him to join their team, and around 1954, he joined Aston Martin. Now, Carroll Shelby had become an international race driver and raced at large international levels. And obviously, at such a high level, he got to drive quite expensive and fastest cars, like Aston Martin, Ferrari, Maserati, Jaguar, etc. Shelby was quite impressed with the speed of these sports cars, but not with their engines. It means their engines were quite unreliable and their maintenance and repair were also quite high. Now, because of all these things, an idea came to Shelby's mind. Why not create a car that combines the handling of European cars with an American V8 engine installed, so that the car is excellent in handling as well as in terms of maintenance and reliability? So then Carroll Shelby began his search for this idea. Around 1962, Shelby's search is completed when he partners with the British West Company for such cars. He takes one of their cars, installs an American V8 engine derived from Ford, and names the car Cobra, Shelby,
Cobra was a very famous car of his time. In fact, it still is, having won big international races against cars like Corvette and Ferrari. After the success of this car, Ford officially teamed up with Shelby around 1965 because the Cobra had a Ford engine and also participated in races on behalf of Ford. Ford saw a lot of potential in this, especially in racing events, so that's why Shelby American company collaborated with Ford. Joined hands. Exactly 1 year before joining hands with Shelby, that is 1964, Ford had launched its Mustang, which had a lot of hype and craze. So seeing this craze, Shelby America customized the Mustang and launched it under its name, Shelby Mustang GT3, under the name 50, which was basically a performance-oriented version of the Mustang, offering more power and better through tension. However, until then, Shelby's cores were not available to the general public. Shelby's cores were made solely and exclusively for racing purposes. Shelby's cores became available to the general public around 2007 when the trend of modern pony cores started worldwide. Seeing this, for core enthusiasts, Shelby launched the Shelby Mustang GT 500. And as soon as it launched, the craze for this car reached the next level. It was even featured in big Hollywood movies. The GT500 gets a complete raw muscle car look. Plus, inside, there was a 5.4-liter supercharged V8 engine, which gave this beast 550 horsepower. But because there was so much power along with rear-wheel drive, mostly people needed confirmation.
It couldn't be controlled, especially during turning, and that is why this vehicle became known as the crowd killer machine. This all continued, but on the 11th of May 2012, Shelby's founder Carroll Shelby passed after they left. This company did not shut down, but continued, and then every new model and each new generation of Mustang included versions of Shelby as well, such as Shelby GT, Shelby GTH, Shelby GT 500 KR, Shelby GT 500 Signature, and Shelby's latest and most powerful car, Shelby Super. Snake, which had the same 5-liter V8 engine, but it is tuned to the level that the car now produces 825 horsepower, which is enough to leave even the best supercars in the dust. And with its great looks and excellent power, Mustang has created a craze worldwide, and obviously, along with the craze, big competitors, both of which are famous muscle cars like Mustang. The first is Chevrolet Camaro and the second is Dodge Challenger. Although this company is mainly famous for the Mustang, Shelby also has trucks like the Shelby F-150, Shelby Raptor, which are obviously Ford's trucks. It is quite famous in other countries because there is a big craze for pickup trucks there. But in India, people don't know much about Shelby trucks, and how would they? People here consider pickup trucks as dairy delivery tempos. Okay, so this was Shelby. In simple terms, it is Ford's performance-oriented version of cars, especially Mustang, which is not like an aftermarket product from Carroll Bach, but an authorized high-performance automobile company. So now you must have understood what the difference is between a regular Mustang and the Shelby Mustang, why there is a difference, and how this difference understood. Rest yes, let us know in the comments what topic you want the next video on, and if you like the video, like, share, subscribe. Bye!
Welcome Carsioyt, Casio gang. Whenever luxury car brands are mentioned, for example, Audi, Mercedes, BMW, Rolls-Royce, etc., we think of a car filled with touchscreens from around the world, high-tech and advanced matrix, pitch-selected headlights, seats that provide an amazing massage experience, twinkling stars visible on the roof, and the cabin so silent that you don't even notice inside. Right. But do you know what the very first cars of these luxury car brands, which have become so technologically advanced nowadays, looked like? Were they also so feature-loaded and luxurious, or was it something else entirely? So, in today's video, let's find out about the very first cars of some famous luxury car brands, what they were, what they looked like, and what engine they had, etc. Okay, so first let's talk about a very famous and most loved brand, that is BMW. Nowadays, BMW cars have become quite powerful and luxurious, but their very first car was the 1927 BMW C15, also known as BMW Dixie. Dixie was considered a very luxurious and affluent car of the earlier times, which was made entirely of a steel frame. It was in a two-door format. A 748cc 4-cylinder engine was installed in this car, which delivered 15 horsepower. Yes, don't laugh at 15 horsepower. In 1927, this was a big deal. In fact, 15 horsepower was considered for fast cars. All these 15 horsepower went to its two rear wheels.
It means BMW's first car was also rear-wheel drive. Now, I don't know if someone tried to drift with it or not. Drift, 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 drift. Anyway, with this engine, this car could reach a maximum top speed of 75 kilometers per hour, and the weight of this car was approximately 400 kilograms, almost like Honda's Goldwing bike. Surprisingly, BMW's first car was successful, because obviously people already knew BMW as a company that made aircraft engines. And then, after its success, BMW launched a new model of it, with some upgrades, and like that, BMW has reached where it is today. Moving on to the next brand, it is Mercedes, which again today offers quite luxurious and premium cars, but their very first car was the almost 140-year-old 1885 Mercedes Motorwagen. Rickshaw, rickshaw, rickshaw. No brother, not a rickshaw. This was Mercedes' very first car. It had only 3 tires. It looked like a rickshaw, where 2 people could sit comfortably. In this rickshaw, motor wagon, was installed a single cylinder, that is, a 1-cylinder 4-stroke engine, which was openly mounted at the back and it had 0.75 horse. Power, yes. It produced even less than 1 horsepower, meaning just sit on it and ride leisurely, nothing more. And as for its weight, it weighed only 270 kilograms, almost like a Hayabusa bike. Then gradually, Mercedes made upgrades. Like in the next model, it had 1.5 horsepower, and the next one had 3 horsepower, and gradually, now 500, 600, 700 horsepower is normal for them. Just imagine, if today's high-tech cars were taken back to those times and put next to a rickshaw, and then you can go ahead and tamper with nature's creations. This time, now that we're talking about BMW and Mercedes, let's talk about another partner of theirs, which is Audi, which also makes quite dangerous cars. But somehow, Audi's popularity is gradually decreasing as compared to these 2 brands, at least in India, quite a lot. Anyway, Audi's very first car was the 1910 Audi Type A. Type A is Audi's oldest model, which was a 4-seater version. This car was installed with a 2.6-liter 4-cylinder engine, which it produced 22 horsepower, which was very good for the year 1910. Anyway, with this engine, the Audi Type A could reach a maximum top speed of 70 kilometers per hour, with the help of its 4-speed gearbox. And speaking of its weight, it weighed 830 kilograms, almost as much as a Maruti Celerio. This car was only in production for 2 years, from 1910 to 1912, and only 140 units of this car were made in these 2 years, of which only 1 unit remains intact today, and that too is kept in a museum, otherwise it would have been lost too. The next car brand is not just luxury, but the father of luxury. It means it is known for luxury, and that is none other than Rolls-Royce. In today's time, there is no match for Rolls-Royce in terms of luxury and premiumness. But when it comes to their first car, obviously it was also premium for its time, and that was the 1904 Rolls-Royce 10. HP. The 10 HP was Rolls-Royce's very first car, with only 16 units produced worldwide. Nowadays, their cars are so silent you can hardly tell. But back then, their car used to sound like this, because this car was installed with an 1800cc twin-cylinder engine that delivered 12 horsepower. The power, however, was 12 horsepower, with which this car could reach a maximum top speed of 39 km per hour. It could. Rolls-Royce was supposed to make 20 units of it, but they felt the twin-cylinder engine was not suitable according to their standards. That's why they made only 16 units and released its new model with more power and upgrades, like 15 horsepower, 20 horsepower, then 30 horsepower extra. And today, see the V12 engine, which is also an absolute silent killer. Talking about the next brand, it is Porsche, which even children know about these days. Even if they don't know anything about cars, at least they know the name. Porsche's very first car was the Porsche Type 64 from 1939. Anyone can recognize it as a Porsche car because this brand has maintained its design language consistently even today, like the round headlights and all. Most of the mechanical parts of this car were taken from Volkswagen, and particularly Volkswagens include Beetle cars. As for the engine, it was a 985 cubic centimeters flat 4 engine, which produced around 40 horsepower. But the even crazier thing was that with this 40 horsepower, this car could reach a top speed of 160 kilometers per hour in 1939. Due to the Type 64 speed and excellent aerodynamics, around 1981 it was also introduced into the racing field under the name Type 64 Racing.
and gradually, Porsche continued to grow in the racing field, and today everyone is aware of their status. Talking about the next brand, which is quite famous in India for utility and off-roading as well as in terms of luxury. Bosses, and that is Land Rover. Speaking of Land Rover's very first car, it was the 1948 Series 1, which was mainly built for off-roading purposes. The Series 1 featured a 4-wheel drive system, and options for both soft-top and hard-top roofs were available. The chassis of this vehicle was made by combining both car and truck chassis. This means it was based on a more sturdy and fully box-welded frame. The Series 1 had a 1.6-liter 4-cylinder engine installed, which produced 50 horsepower, with a 4-speed gearbox. This vehicle was mostly used by the military, government officials, and with a car in which literally Lewis Hamilton's F1 car engine is installed, yet it is road legal. A car for which even BMW currently has no match. Whether it's the M4, M5, M5 CS or the BMW M8, meaning BMW will have to release its own supercar or hypercar for this. A car that is so aerodynamic in design, as if it's not a car but a jet about to take off. Yes, I am talking about Mercedes' F1 inspired road legal monster MG1, Mercedes MG1.
You all must know that.
Mercedes has such a rich and successful history in the F1 field, that is Mercedes-AMG Petronas, the F1 team in which Lewis Hamilton was still a part. However, now from 2025, Hamilton has joined Ferrari. Anyway, without getting more into F1, coming back to the topic, Mercedes thought why not make a car that gives the exact thrill of an F1 car. but their own roads. That is, a road legal F1 inspired car that exclusive rich people could also buy. Because F1 cars are not normally road legal and obviously they are not easy to drive. Special training and so forth is needed to drive these made machines. So that's why Mercedes started working on a new high-tech project car and named that Project 1. After working on this project for quite some time, in the year 2017 at the International Motor Show in Germany, this concept is revealed to everyone for the first time, meaning the Project 1 concept, and Mercedes head and Lewis Hamilton also participate in this showcase. Because this car had the engine of Lewis Hamilton's very own F1 car, meaning the Mercedes W Series F1 car's engine was installed, and the livery, that is the color combination and graphics, were also inspired by it. What and which engine it was, that we will discuss further. Will do. For almost 5 years after the unveiling, the company works on its production version, and finally, on the 1st of June 2022, the official launch of this car happens, in which the car is named Mercedes AMG 1. Mercedes limited the production of this car to only 275 units, meaning worldwide only 275 units of this car were made, and each unit was hand-built by AMG through the team, where the price of a single unit was almost $2.72 million. In Indian currency, almost 23 crore something. But do you know the fun part? All 275 units were sold at the time of the launch. Yes, all were sold. In fact, Mercedes received almost 4 times more orders than the planned production number. But Mercedes clearly refused. They did not make even 1 unit more than 275 in order to maintain the exclusivity of the car, to keep this car rare and exclusive. Now, you must be wondering what is so special about this car, that despite costing about 23 to 24 crore rupees, people are still eager to buy it. The answer is its entire F1 DNA, its performance, and its aerodynamic design. Didn't get it? So, let's start with its engine specs and performance first. Speaking of the power specifications of the MG1, this car is installed with a 1.6-liter turbocharged V6 engine. I knew everyone would laugh at hearing 1.6 liters. Brother, if an engine can fit in an F1 car, why not in this? And anyway, this is not a normal engine but a modified version of the Mercedes P0106B, a turbocharged 90-degree V6 engine, and that too with a hybrid system. Meaning, in this car, along with the engine, 4 electric motors operate. The engine is also installed the same like Lewis Hamilton Formula 1 car. It combines an internal combustion engine and hybrid powertrain to produce 1063 horsepower. Yes, more than 1000 horsepower, and it can accelerate from 0 to 100 in just 2.9 seconds, 0 to 200 in just 7 seconds, and 0 to 300 in just 15.6 seconds. That means in 15.6 seconds, the car can reach a speed of 300 km per hour. As for its top speed, it is 352 km per hour, which is electronically limited. This means the speed is locked due to safety measures. Could it possibly go faster? It has an F1 engine and drivetrain installed, but obviously some modifications will be needed because they also have to make it road legal. So the company has worked on the RPM redline regulations, meaning their F1 car, which could touch a maximum red line of 15,000 RPM, has been reduced to 11,000. But to still, brother, 11,000 RPM is no small matter for a stock road legal car. For comparison, even the Bugatti Chiron Super Sports redline is approximately 7,100 RPM. And if you want to compare with a hybrid, the Ferrari SF90 Stradale's redline is also around 7,500 RPM. Or then the plug-in hybrid V12 engine Lamborghini. The Revuelto also has an RPM redline of 9,500 RPM, and this one has 11,000 RPM. Moreover, since it has F1 DNA, it is equipped with a 7-speed single-clutch automated manual transmission with 4-disc carbon racing clutch, and if you don't know, this same transmission is also used in modern Formula 1 cars, because handling such high RPM is not an easy task. Also, the steering wheel of this car is similar to that of a Formula 1 car, in a rectangular shape with quite a few controls and driving modes along with that. But now, while there are so many positives in its drivetrain, there is also a major downside. Yes, one very negative thing about the engine of the MG1 is that its engine lasts only up to a maximum of 50,000 kilometers. This engine only lasts for 50,000 kilometers, after which you have to return this car to Mercedes for engine refurbishment or engine replacement, which is very expensive because the whole game of this car is about its engine. Imagine, brother, you spend 23 to 24 crore rupees to buy a car, and after 50,000 driving, Vetimistus Aikis Dekis Aiting Gine. But there is a valid reason that these are just show-off driven cars, meaning cars to take out occasionally. Mostly, those who buy such cars have a great car collection, so they mostly prefer to go on trips in luxury cars rather than supercars or hypercars. Now, we have talked about the power specs of the MG1, but one aspect of this car is as important as its power, and that is its aerodynamic design. Mercedes has worked excellently and meticulously on it. As soon as you activate the race mode of this car, the first thing it does is lower its ground clearance by around 37mm so that the car hugs the road and less air passes underneath to disturb handling. Then the fender vents at the front will open, which Mercedes has named lowers for better airflow, and it also looks quite cool. After that, the ducts at the front will also open, allowing the air hitting the front to pass straight to the sides. Then, in race mode, its rear wing will fully extend, which is fully functional, and you all know the function of wings. Besides that, there's a shark fin on the car's roof, just like a shark fish, which extends from its center all the way to the rear wing to prevent any turbulence and flow. Separation. At the start, there's a roof-mounted air intake, just like an F1 car. It means the airflow is controlled perfectly. The tire section is slightly smaller compared to the rear, which is also the case here. That means there are 19-inch tires in the front and 20-inch in the rear, equipped with world-famous Michelin Pilot Sport Coupe tires, which even Bugatti and Koenigsegg use for higher speeds. When it comes to speed, one thing plays a very important role, and that is the weight of the car. To make the Mercedes AMG 1 lightweight, the company made the entire body of this car. Seriously, the full outer body is made from carbon fiber. The result is that the total curb weight of this car is only 1,695 kilograms. That is less than 1,700 kilograms, which includes the engine, transmission, electric motors, and batteries of this car. Here are the specifications and advanced engineering details of the AMG 1. But now, you must be wondering if such an incredible car has set any records. Well, indeed, this car has set not just one or two, but quite a few records. In fact, it set its first record just 5 months after the launch. That is, in November 2022, this car set the record for the fastest road legal production car on the Nürburgring track, completing the full lap in just 6 minutes 35 seconds. It did. After that, in September 2024, it again set a record on the Nürburgring track, which was 6 seconds faster than the previous one. Completed it. And besides that, the AMG 1 has set records with different times on tracks like the Grand Prix circuit, Red Bull Ring, Hockenheim Ring, and Monza circuit. That's why this car is so popular worldwide. And another big reason behind its popularity is the Forza Horizon 5 game. If you have played Forza Horizon 5, you would know that this car is also featured on its banner alongside the Ford Bronco. So this was the Mercedes AMG 1. A Formula 1 level road legal, or you could say a Formula 1 car on the road. BMW will have to come up with some new supercar type to beat it, otherwise this won't work. By the way, this was it for this video. Tell us in the comments what your thoughts are about this monster AMG 1. If you liked the video, do like and subscribe. Bye. Welcome Carsioyt gang. Today we will talk about some of this week's latest car news, which includes quite interesting car news today. Enthusiastic and performance-oriented cars are also going to be launched in India, so watch the video completely. Let's take a look. So, first talking about the news. Volkswagen is going to launch the Tiguan R-Line spec in India. Yes, the R-Line variant is a more performance-oriented version of the Tiguan, and is mostly preferred by those who enjoy driving for fun. You might already know that Volkswagen is also bringing its Golf GTI to India, which we have talked about before. But along with that, the Tiguan R-Line, which will also launch in India on the 14th of April. If we talk about the engine specs and performance of this car, we can expect a 2-liter turbo petrol engine that will produce almost 265 horsepower. It will be paired with a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission and will also have an all-wheel drive system, meaning the performance will be quite strong for this car. Because this is the R-Line spec, we will get a nice sporty look, 19-inch alloys will be available, and the interior will also be quite premium. It will be. The Tiggan R line will be fully imported to India, meaning it will not be locally assembled, and that's why the price of this vehicle can be expected to go up to 50 lakh. But then you're getting performance like this with German driving dynamics. Tell me, in the 50 lakh range, would you consider the Fortuner or the Tiggan R line? Sa tagpa-piba, andati pastektin. Talking about the second news, you must be aware of the new Defender Octa, and if not, what are you doing, man? We made a detailed video on it as soon as it was revealed. So the Defender Octa is also going to be launched in India on the 26th of March. Yes, the Defender Octa will be launched in India. However, the price has not been revealed yet. It will also be known on the 26th of March. For those who still don't know, the Octa is basically the most powerful Defender by Land Rover to date, with not many changes in looks and such. But the power and off-roading capabilities of this vehicle are quite strong. In the Octa, we get a 4.4-liter BMW-derived hybrid V8 engine, which gives this SUV 635 horsepower and 750 Nm of torque, and after turning on its off-road launch mode, this 750 Nm of torque goes up to 800 Nm. Along with that, its top speed is very impressive at 250 km per hour considering its size and weight. Additionally, for off-roading, it includes 6D dynamic suspension and many other features. If you want to know about them in detail, watch this video. For now, let's move ahead. Talking about the next news, Jeep has launched the Compass Sandstorm Edition in India at a starting price of around 19.49 lakh. It will be available with its 3 sports, longitude and longitude optional variants by paying around 50,000 extra. In the Sandstorm Edition, we don't get any mechanical changes, but there are cosmetic ones, like some graphics and stickers on the exterior and Sandstorm decals and badges on the interior. And we also get a company-fitted dash camera. Other than that, there is no change in this car. Everything else is the same as its regular spec. Now that we are talking about editions, Mahindra has also launched the Avenue edition of its SUV W Paisa Pinti Type Paimbetik W, which is basically the full black or dark edition of this vehicle, where everything from the outside is completely black. As for the interior, everything is black except for its pillars and roof, so that people do not feel completely claustrophobic and feel a bit more open. In fact, the chrome elements in its interior have also been turned into dark chrome. Other than that, there is no change in this car. No. The Ebony edition of the XUV WBW is only available in the X7 and X7 luxury variants. And also, this edition is offered only in the front-wheel drive option. There is no option for all-wheel drive in this, unlike in the regular variant. Has the V8 hybrid engine, and if you are taking this engine lightly, then hold on, because this engine will deliver around 920 horsepower. Yes, 920 horsepower. With this, the car will touch 0 to 100 in just 2.7 seconds. Meaning, just think, brother, hypercar-like performance in an R8. In addition, it will use all-wheel drive to send power to all its wheels, so that 920 horsepower is properly utilized and the car's acceleration is also fast. Although its looks will definitely change because it will be a kind of new generation. Just hope the Audi people don't mess up its looks. Everything else is fine. Taipi supite tintis, taipi aquata.
The next news is about Toyota.
Toyota is working on a new hybrid engine. In fact, it is already ready, which will be used in their GR sports car, meaning in their Gazoo racing lineup, which basically performs well in rally races and other races and has a good reputation. Speaking of that new engine, it will be their 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, which can support both plug-in hybrid and mild hybrid setups as needed. And due to the hybrid powertrain, the GR car will perform even better in acceleration. According to reports, the road-going GR versions, meaning the ones that customers can usually buy, will have around 400 horsepower. And in their motorsports version, the power will increase to 600 horsepower. The 4-wheel drive system will also be added in the racing field for better traction, which is still being provided anyway. Talking about the next news, it is from Aston Martin, which doesn't usually stay in the limelight, especially in India. Anyways, Aston Martin is going to launch its new Vanquish in India in March 2022. Vanquish is basically a supercar from Aston Martin. in which we will get a 5.2-liter V12 engine. Yes, a 12-cylinder engine that will deliver around 835 horsepower and around 1000 Nm of torque. With this, the car will take only 3.2 seconds to go from 0 to 100. And as for its top speed, it will be 345 km per hour, which is obviously limited. Now, since it will be Aston Martin's flagship car in India, its expected price is going to be more than 6 crore. And that too without options. The exact pricing will come on the 22nd of March. Here's the news from Tata Motors, in which Tata has launched the updated Tata Tiago NRG spec in India. For those who don't know, NRG is basically the crosshatch version of the Tiago, to give customers a slightly more rugged feel. In the NRG variant, there are no changes in the engine, transmission, or even the interior. Yes, you will find NRG badging in a couple of places in the interior. But in the NRG spec, the main change is in its exterior, which includes a slightly sporty and rugged bumper at the front, slightly thick cladding on the sides, a few extra plastic parts at the back, and slightly different roof rails to make the vehicle look sturdier and bulkier. That's it. There are no other NRG variants. As for the variants and pricing of this car, here it is on your screen. It is available only with the XC and XA variants. Talking about today's last news, Mercedes has made the global debut of their 2025 CLA, which is their electric car. It obviously offers different looks and interior, but the powertrain is quite different as well. The new CLA integrates a 119 kilowatt battery, which will provide a claimed range of 717 kilometers. Which is very impressive. And along with that, this car will be available with both rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options. But the most interesting part is the car's charging system. With its 800-volt electrical architecture, the car can go up to 300 kilometers with just 10 minutes of charging.
In other words, a range of 300 kilometers with 10 minutes of charging.
Rest for now.
Compan. Ladies and gentlemen, put on your headphones, turn up the volume, and get ready for an eargasm because today we will watch and listen to the 7 best sounding cars of all time, meaning the world's 7 best exhaust note cars. Just hearing them will literally make your whole day, and definitely don't miss the last 3. And yes, in this video, we will not talk about the features, looks, or any other strong points of these cars. We will only talk about their sound and their engine and power. So put on your headphones in your ears. Did you put them in?
4. Very fast. Yeah? Yes.
At number 7 comes the Porsche Carrera GT, which you should listen to first. The Carrera GT was a mid-engine sports car that was produced for only 2 years, from 2004 to 2006.
Production? The company planned to make only 1500 units of this car, out of which 1270 units were sold worldwide, with the most, that is 644 units, sold in the US. The Carrera GT is equipped with a 5.7-liter V10 engine which produces 603 horsepower. Because of this, the car can reach a speed of 0 to 100 in just 3.5 seconds, which is very fast for the time of 2004. Also, this car's top speed is 330 km per hour. And yes, if you remember, this is the same car in which Paul Walker's, even during the crash. At number 6 is the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ.
Brother, first tell me what SVJ is,
Look, SVJ means Super Velocijota. SVJ is basically a successor to the Aventador SV. It means a slightly better upgraded version in which both power and aerodynamics it is improved. You must have heard its sound. It comes from the 6.5-liter V12 engine. Yes, the 12-cylinder engine gives this car 770 horsepower. Now, because it has such great power and an all-wheel drive system, the acceleration is bound to be quick. So, literally, the Aventador SVJ reaches 0 to 100 speed in just 2.8 seconds. And as for the top speed, it is 350 kilometers per hour. Worldwide, only 900 units of the SVJ have been made, out of which some units also came to India, with a price tag of around 8.5 crore rupees.
Next, at number 5th, is the Shelby Mustang GT350.
So, first of all, don't think of this as a normal Ford Mustang. This is a Shelby Mustang. If you don't know what exactly this Shelby is and what the difference is between a normal Ford Mustang and a Shelby Mustang, I have already made a detailed video on this. You can watch it. You will find out. The link to the video will be available in the description. Anyway, the GT350R is a quite high-performance oriented version of the Mustang, which it is officially available from Ford itself, not from some random aftermarket shop,
in which many upgrades are done, like the standard magnetized damping system, recalibrated, springs dual exhaust with electronic valves are extra. After that, the 5.2-liter flat plane crank V8 engine is further tuned to give its maximum output,
which then produces 526 horsepower and also a red line of over 8,000 RPM, which is Ford's highest revving V8 engine to date. And after all this excitement, the car can produce such an amazing engine note. Coming in fourth is the Dodge Challenger. This car? So maybe I don't need to give an introduction. Literally every kid knows this car. Yes, kids have somewhat turned it into a Supra. People are going to get their Super MG4 sisa. For our Super MG Challenger is an American muscle car that is famous for its sound power and classic looks. This car meme gets variants worldwide like SXT, GT, RT, Scat Pack, Hellcat Demon, Jailbreak, Red Eye. Hey, talk brother, the power starts from 300 horsepower and goes up to 1000 horsepower. SRT Demon goes up to 170. Installed in it is an American-powered 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi-Fi 8 engine, and also of the Challenger. In fact, the special thing about the Dodge Charger and others is their whistle sound, which comes from their supercharger. But brother, what's the use now because the Dodge Challenger has already been discontinued? That means the production of the Dodge Challenger has stopped, and now there's the electric Dodge Challenger which has neither engine nor sound nor feel. In short, at number 3 on the list is the Pagani Huayra R, whose sound can literally rival an F1 car. The Huayra R is an Italian mid-engine hypercar. It's not just a car, it is a masterpiece that was revealed in 2012. It was a track-only car, meaning it was made only for tracks, not for roads, and the reason was its sound. The sound range of the Pagani Huayra R literally goes up to 140 decibels. If this car is revved to its full potential, which is enough to make a normal person deaf. So if someone stands within a few meters of it for a short time, they have a high chance of becoming deaf. And for this reason, it was not made street legal. The whole neighborhood could go deaf. Anyway, speaking of this beast's engine, its engine was developed by Mercedes-AMG, it has a 6.0-liter twin-turbo V12 engine which produces up to 850 horsepower. The weight of this car is only 1050 kilograms. That means it's just like a Maruti Suzuki Espresso because the entire body of this car is made of carbon fiber to keep the car lightweight and provide excellent acceleration, along with a carbon tube exhaust system which then produces such an evil sound. Number 2 is the Jaguar CS75, which you might not have heard of before because it was a concept car that never made it into production. The most unique thing about this car is that it doesn't sound like a car. I mean, this Jaguar sounds like a real Jaguar. Kissy up!
Like a real Jaguar whose sound you hear first.
The CX-70 was revealed in 2010, which became quite a topic of discussion due to its sound. This car had a 1.6-liter engine installed, which might seem very small to you, because a larger engine can be found in vehicles like Thar, Scorpio, etc. But, wait a bit. With this engine, we get a combination of a twin-scroll supercharger and a gigantic turbo, plus a hybrid as well. The system with which this vehicle produces 880 horsepower and 900 Nm of torque. Oh, I'm getting dizzy now. Seriously, from a 1.6-liter engine, you get 880 horsepower, leading to a red line of 10,000 RPM in this vehicle. The CX-75 was revealed in 2010, but unfortunately was never officially launched and remained just a concept. The car in the number 1 position on the list is the one and only Lexus LFA, whose sound will make you forget everything. The Lexus LFA is also considered the best sounding car in the world, whether you look at public reports or media reports. Officially launched in 2010, the LFA was a Japanese 2-seater sports car. Fun fact, Lexus is owned by Toyota, so engine reliability is not an issue. No. Installed in the LFA is a 4.8-liter V10 engine that produces 553 horsepower. But the most interesting thing was its sound. You must know Yamaha, so the LFA's exhaust note was tuned by Yamaha, which makes it produce such a sound. After making a total of 500 units, Lexus discontinued it in 2012, but its sound's legacy is still at the top. These are the 7 best sounding cars of all time. Tell us in the comments which of these 7 sounded the best to you, which made your heart feel like a garden. If you liked the video, do like, share and subscribe. Bye.
Welcome Iski Carsioyt gang. Today we'll talk about some of this week's latest car news, which includes some updates related to the company, classic cars, and obviously about upcoming cars as well. So without wasting time, let's take a look. So, talking about the very first news, it's related to classic cars, meaning those who like me have a passion for classic cars and obviously have plenty of money. Since we are talking about classic cars, Mercedes recently held an auction for their iconic W119XR, which was their F1 car from around the 1950s. This car was sold at auction. Do you know for how much? 51 million euros. In Indian currency, 458 became the world's most expensive F1 car. However, in terms of the most valuable car, it still holds the second position. First is still Mercedes' 300 SLR, which was auctioned for 1266 crore in 2022. Anyway, this W119XR from 1954 is installed with a 2.5-liter straight 8 engine, which produces up to 290 horsepower. And with this engine, this car also raced in events like the Entry Grand Prix and Italian Grand Prix. Talking about the next news, currently, a video of a Mahindra Scorpio N pickup version is surfacing a lot for testing, and many people have even announced that it is going to come to India soon. But that's not the case. Mahindra company will launch the Scorpio N pickup, but not in India, in South Africa, where the demand is highest. In fact, the pickup version of the Scorpio Classic sells there like Maruti sells here. The Scorpio N pickup being tested in the video is in a single cab. That means it will come in a 2-door format and is expected to have a 2.2-liter turbo diesel engine, producing approximately 175 horsepower and around 400 Newton meters of torque, and the rear compartment is quite long. So yes, this vehicle is for South Africa, which is being tested in India. And about the future, it is uncertain, but for now, it is not going to come to India because Mahindra knows that in the eyes of Indians, it is still just a van, and its arrival will reduce the value and demand of the Scorpio N. Talking about the next news, Honda has made its entire lineup A20 compliant. That means now in their vehicles like City Hybrid, Elevate and Amaze will have a 20 petrol. And not just new cars, according to Honda, if you have a car model from after 2009, you can safely use a 20 petrol in it. And for those who don't know what a 20 is, well, it's just petrol but a bit more refined. Currently, there is E10, which has 10% ethanol and 90% petrol, whereas A20 contains 20% ethanol and 80% petrol. Now, because ethanol burns cleanly, fewer harmful particles are released. That means the vehicle will cause less pollution. That's why the government is telling all car makers to make their vehicles A20 compliant as soon as possible. And Honda has already done it. And soon, all car makers will do it too. Let's move to the next news. Lexus has revealed a new concept of their LX SUV, the Surf LX concept, which is a slightly off-road oriented version of this luxury SUV. It features 33-inch all-terrain tires on 20-inch alloys, a slide-out floor in the boot, and a surfboard rack. You get drawers and also a cooler so that you can have a great time at the beach or in the jungle. Oh, I mean have a picnic. However, this surf concept has no mechanical changes. That means the same 409 horsepower one. This vehicle will go above 10 crore. Now, as its name suggests, it is a 12-cylinder, so we get a 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 engine that is mapes which will generate approximately 30 horsepower, all of which will go to its rear wheels. That means it is a rear-wheel drive Ferrari. The next news is about Skoda, meaning Skoda is launching a new EV. The electric car is set to be launched in India before September 2025. Yes, it is not yet finalized which car it will be, but according to sources, it is most expected to be their Enyaq, which is already being sold in other countries. So, let's see which car it will be and what its name will be. There's news about BMW. As you might already know, they have a BMW M3. After that, they have an M3 CS, a slightly more aggressive and performance-oriented version. And then they have an M3 Touring, which is somewhat like a station wagon. It's state basically, which offers more space for passengers and more luggage space, means a somewhat more practical version of the M3. But now, BMW has combined all three, meaning the looks of the M3, the power of the CS, and the practicality of the Touring, and revealed their new BMW M3 CS Touring, which is their truck-focused performance and practical car. In this car, BMW has installed a 3-liter inline-6 engine that delivers 543 horsepower. Besides that, its weight has been reduced by 15 kilograms compared to the regular M3 Touring because carbon fiber parts have been used in it. They said Ostam PSK Papat. And along with this, it includes MPAC cage, ceramic brakes, formal suspension, etc. Speaking of today's last news, BYD is going to launch its new SUV, the Ceylon 7, in India on the 17th of February 2025. Ceylon 7 is BYD's performance-oriented electric SUV that will come with both rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options. We will get two different specs or versions in this vehicle. A premium version with 313 horsepower with rear-wheel drive and another performance version with 530 horsepower with all-wheel drive. Being electric, we will get a claimed range of 542 to 567 kilometers. However, in real life, it won't be that much. This is just on paper. As for its price, it will be revealed on February 17th, but it is expected that the price might go up to 60-70 lakhs. Okay, so this was a bit of the latest car news for this week. If you liked the video, then like and subscribe. This car looks like it has just come out of a game. I mean a car straight from the future. This is Hyundai's Envision 74, which runs neither on diesel nor on petrol. And it's not a proper electric vehicle either. Instead, this car has a hydrogen-based hybrid system. I'll explain the rest in the video on how it works, and this hydrogen system is what? Hyundai surprised everyone by revealing this car in mid-2022 because the car was just like that. But until now, everyone thought it would remain just a concept and would not go into production. So yes, their thinking was completely wrong because Hyundai has officially announced that this car will be in production. Will come. Means by the year 2030, that is within 6 years, Hyundai will release 21 new cars. That means 21 new cars and one of them will be Vision 74. So let's talk about this future car today. So first of all, let's talk about what exactly this N-Vision 74 is and how it got its name. In N-Vision 74, N stands for Hyundai's High Performance Division. Just like M in BMW, AMG in Mercedes and RS in Audi, similarly in Hyundai its N is. In the N division, N denotes two things. First, the Namyang district which is in South Korea, because the N brand started there. Also, Hyundai's global R&D center is located there as well. And secondly, N denotes the Nürburgring racetrack, which is in Germany. The Vision T after N denotes the future because this car is made in a very futuristic manner. But the 74 after Vision N is quite interesting. 74 denotes 1974 because the entire link of this car is from there. In fact, in 1974, Hyundai revealed its Pony Coupe concept, which was designed by Hyundai's designer Giorgetto Giugiaro. It was also quite futuristic for its time, which everyone liked. The wedge-style nose, circular headlamps, glass roof, and straight body lines made this car stand out. Was also the biggest source of inspiration for this car was the legendary DeLorean, DMC-12, which is itself quite an interesting car. If you want a detailed video to be made on this car as well, then let me know in the comments. Well, unfortunately, Hyundai's Pony Coupe concept could not go into production for some reasons and remained just a prototype. So this prototype's new version is the N-Vision 74, which Hyundai has revived, meaning recreated in a futuristic way, and surprisingly, it is now going to come into production as well. So the N-Vision 74, the 74 comes from 1974. Now, we have talked about its name and history. Now let's talk about the car itself. Starting with its looks, which is the best part of this car. I mean, what a look it has. A mix of retro and futuristic cars. When we come to the front, first we get pixelated LED headlights that look just like a game. In the middle, there is a straight panel with indicators and below it, a large front lip. Bumper. Honestly, once you might even be reminded of a Dodge Challenger by the front of the car. Coming to the side design language of this car is just like the 1974 Hyundai Pony car. Whether you look at its pillars, bonnet, or its sloping roof, its front tires are 20 inches and the rear tires are 21 inches. Yes, 1 inch larger. So better handling and acceleration because it is a rear-wheel drive car. Just like the front, you get pixelated LED tail lights at the rear. Below, there is a large diffuser with a brake light like in every race. And above, there's a large spoiler too, so that this car becomes more aerodynamic. Speaking of the overall looks, top notch. I really liked it. About its power figures, let's also take a look at its interior, which is mostly inspired by the 1974 Pony concept, like the same dashboard design, except that it used to have an antique analog cluster, which is now digital. The gear in the middle has become a modern rotating knob and the manual handbrake has become electronic. Like I mentioned before, this car is the perfect mix of retro and modern. Okay, now let's talk about the most interesting thing about this car. Its power and hybrid system. So the Vision 74 is a rear-wheel drive car with separate motors installed in both rear tires. These electric motors are powered by its hydrogen fuel cell-based hybrid system. To put it simply, hydrogen gas is filled in this car. The car runs on it. Just like many cars use CNG gas, this one uses hydrogen gas. And that's why it has two hydrogen tanks of 2.1 kilograms each, meaning a total of 4.2 kilograms of hydrogen tanks, which will take you about 5 minutes to fill. Means 5 minutes is its refueling time for a full tank. But the hydrogen system generates more heat, which can also be dangerous. There could be a situation. Oh, I've become completely duck man. So for this, Hyundai has enhanced a 3-channel cooling system and the heat management of the P system to keep the vehicle always cool, for which an additional 62.4 kilowatt fast charging battery has been installed, which will also charge like electric cars. That's why we find 2 points in this car. One for filling hydrogen gas and the other for charging it with electricity. And that's why this car is also being called a hydrogen-based electric hybrid car.
With its complicated setup, this vehicle produces 680 horsepower and 900 Nm of peak torque, which goes to both its rear tires so that you can also enjoy a great drift. With its extreme power, this car can achieve 0 to 100 in 4 seconds, and its top speed is 250 km per hour, which I believe is limited. It can be easily driven for 600 km after a full refuel, means a claimed 600 km range. In the Vision 74, Hyundai has also used its newly developed control strategy, which can integrate the fuel cell and battery. To explain in simple terms, just like you switch from petrol to CNG, it can similarly run separately on hydrogen. And when you need full acceleration, you can also use the power of its battery. Yes, which will give the vehicle even more boost. And finally, in this way, the hydrogen-based hybrid system of this vehicle works. Speaking of the estimated price of the Envision 74, which is not officially confirmed, but is estimated to be around $375,000 or approximately 3 crore rupees in Indian currency, which I think is a bit high. Brother, isn't that a bit too much? Hyundai has confirmed that this car will go into production, but in the proper future, we will find out how practical it proves to be, because new technologies bring new problems. Tell in the comments how you found Hyundai's Envision 74 racing car. If you liked the rest of the video, do like, share, subscribe. Bye. Ing di pasas intindi ke kas tintidap.